Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. I am Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me once again. What I want to talk about in this video is a very interesting piece of information that I found from an obscure article where essentially the editor and the writer of this particular article assessed this idea that black women who may be the sole blacks in a workplace mostly inhabited by white people have to basically self-affirm themselves. And that she gives, this writer of this article gives 11 self-affirming quotes, if you will, that will help motivate black women in a workplace that is inhabited mostly by white people. So you already know where this is going. So I'm going to read some of these affirmations, and I'm going to give you guys my opinion about this whole idea of black and white perception. Because I believe, based on my observations, based on my experiences, and based on my studies and readings, where a lot of these type of perceptions come from. So let's get right into this article. It's very interesting. And you know, it's interesting, and it's not a shock, because every time there's an election cycle starting, you know, all this racial stuff starts happening. And it's interesting because it seems to me that no one really understands or recognizes what's going on, right? It's like, why when there's an election period coming up, whether it's on a local, state, or federal level, it's always about race. Anyway, the article starts off, when you are the only woman, the only woman of color, or the only black woman in the workplace, brother, code switching can be a means of survival. All right. You might change the way you dress, act, speak, and behave simply to fit in and not ruffle the feathers. A stressful day for you might look like facing Now, get this now. This is what this article says. A stressful day for you might look like facing microaggressions, something that the far radical Marxist leftists have created in the school system. Microaggression. What kind of nonsense is that? I'm not going to even go through. I'm not going to even get the definition of that foolishness, but I already know what that's about. That's a Marxist created concept, but let's go on. Being overlooked and underpaid, or fighting for your voice to be heard. Underpaid a lot of times has nothing to do with them being black, okay? But that's another story, and I digress. For the woman who is, quote, the only one in the workplace, here are 11 affirmations to help you remember your worth, okay? Number one, I am powerful, and every day I am stepping into a great level of strength. I am powerful, and every day I'm stepping into a great level of strength. It says, you are a force to be reckoned with. You are excellent at the work you do, and you are breaking barriers and taking ground. Now, I'm just reading to you these PowerPoints, if you will, that the writer of this article is stating on how black women can survive in a workplace that's predominantly composed of white people, and it might be stressful because of microaggressions, okay? But what this statement basically is telling me is, do your job. You are a force to be reckoned with. You are excellent at the work you do, and you are breaking barriers and taking ground. Well, yeah, as long as you have strong work ethics, that none of that matter. Whether you're white, black, Hispanic, or whatever, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you're a good worker, it won't matter what racial ethnicity you are. You will know that you're a person of excellence when you do your job in an excellent manner. But let's go on. I'm going to go into the details of that. Number two, how others perceive me does not define me. Your identity is not based on a job, a title, or people's opinions of you. You are valuable. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is true. But we're going to get into that in a little bit. Okay, we're going to get into that, your perceptions a little bit. Number three says, I win when I show up as myself. Showing up authentically is always a win. Do not alter yourself. Play small or dim your light to cater to other people. Do not alter yourself. Well, yeah, you can be authentic, but as long as you're not a jerk. Because I see a lot of jerks on my job, black and white, okay, that are being authentic, but they're being authentic in the stupidest way. Why be an authentic jerk? Why be an authentic lowlife? You know, be the authentic best that you could be. I mean, that's, I'm going to assume that this is what this individual is trying to say. Showing up authentically is always a win. Do not alter yourself. Play small or dim your light to cater to other people. Yeah, don't alter the goodness within you. Be yourself, be authentic, but be yourself and be authentic in the best positive way, regardless of whether or not your workplace is mostly composed of whites or mostly composed of blacks, because I've seen situations where a significant number of the employees are black. That's the situation where I work at. As a security officer at Tower City, which is basically a mall, okay, most of the workers there are black. I think we might have 2 or 3 white people in terms of workers. The only white people per se that we do have are the supervisors, except maybe 1 or 2, but significant number of them were black. One was black and he left the job for something else. You be authentic, but be the best authentic you in a positive sense. Don't be an authentic jerk. Like I see a lot of people, but anyway, let's go on. Let's go. I am intrinsically and unconditionally worthy. Your worth is unshakable. No workplace or company defines you. And then it goes on to say, my excellence is palpable. When you walk into the room, people notice your presence. Your light emanates from your core. As I shine my light, I give other people permission to do the same. Your boldness and brilliance empower those around you. You are an inspiration. I don't have to strive to be valuable. Your worth is not something you can earn. It's priceless. I belong in every room I walk in, even though you might be the only one. Who you are is more than enough. You are qualified. You measure up and you belong here. My feelings, ideas, and thoughts are valid. You are uniquely brilliant, and your ideas and thoughts are invaluable. I am not alone in the obstacles I face. I am supported. You might be the only black woman in the space, but there are black women in every industry experiencing similar scenarios. There's a community of women cheering you on. My voice deserves to be heard. Your voice matters, even if your voice shakes. Speak up, be bold, and exercise your voice. That's basically all the points there, actually. And let me say something, too, before I even elaborate even more on this. It's not just, why is it, I can't help but wonder when I was reading this, where's this perception that this is unique to black women, But clearly, this is someone who wrote this article because of perceptions or maybe perhaps experiences she may have had in the workplace. I don't know. Perhaps these are experiences she has had in the workplace. I don't know. I don't have her experiences. She didn't give any experiences in this article. I'm assuming that this is a she. It could be somebody that's a he, but we're not going to go into all of that. But anyway, I'm going to make the assessment that this was a female writing this article, black female. I don't know her experiences. Maybe she did experience these type of things on her job, and she felt like a significant number of the white co-workers and bosses and so forth were being microaggressive towards her. Maybe so. I don't know. I don't know. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, as I kind of hit at in some of these points here, is it really comes down to being the best you could be everywhere you go. And it has very little to do with your race or ethnicity or your nationality. It has to do with your personality. It has to do with your work ethics. It has to do with your mindset, your attitude. Okay. And my personal observations and experience, as well as studying and reading, has been that people with bad attitudes, whether they're white or black, okay, is in every workplace. Okay, where I work at right now, we've had bad attitudes with black employees doing things they shouldn't be doing, not coming to work, always constantly calling off. We've had situations with white employees, with white bosses, okay, doing things they shouldn't have been doing and get fired. So it's not always a white and black thing. See, the ones at the top, those that control the money in any organization, they could care less whether you white or black. Think about it. They could care less whether you are white or black. They will fire you whether you're white or black because you are hindering the money. As I just told you, several of my bosses on my job, 2 or 3, maybe like 3 or 4 of them actually, were fired. I'm talking about bosses. I'm not talking about regular workers. I'm talking about bosses. Okay? Were fired for doing things they shouldn't have been doing or acting in a way they shouldn't have been acting, and they were all white. So where's the white privilege there? I thought white privilege was supposed to jump in and help these white bosses. It didn't do that, right? What no argument said. Boom, they was gone for doing crazy things. So it's not a matter of your race. It's not a matter of your skin color, any of that. It's a matter of your personal ethics. It's a matter of your personal attitude, being you, being the authentic you, as that point says, being the authentic you. But being the authentic you is being the best authentic you can be. And here's what I mean by that. If the job says, if your particular job, let's be realistic now, stop playing games now. God gets so tired of hearing this. Well, these people on this job here trying to make me, they don't want me to be black. You know, the job says you can't wear dreadlocks, or you can't have all these you can't have all these nose rings and ear and tongue rings and lip rings and nose rings and eyeball rings and hair rings and every other kind of ring. You get what I'm saying? That you can't have all of this kind of stuff on you. It looks bad for the company. This is a professional position that you're applying for. You can't have all of that. If you want this, you have to adhere. You want this position, you have to adhere to the stipulations of the position. Well, they just don't want me to be black. Man, cut it out. That has nothing to do with you being black. That's just you and your approach and your attitude. Because if it had to do with you being black, then every black person that wanted to get that job would be acting and dressing the same way. Because it's a part of their blackness. That has nothing to do with anything. It has to do with meeting the policies of that organization. That organization has a right to create whatever policies that they want. They're the ones dishing out the money. They're the ones paying the bills. You're not paying the bills. They're paying you. They're paying you. They're giving money to you. You're not giving them any money. They're giving money to you. The profits that they receive, they're giving you some of that money. All you need to do is come to work and adhere to the policies and stipulations that they have created, whether you black or white. When you don't adhere to those policies, when you don't adhere to those stipulations that they create, after numerous warnings, you out the door, because you are causing a problem to the bottom line. And that doesn't matter what race you are. At the end of the day, it's all about the money. It's all about the bottom line. So this whole idea of what this writer is saying in this article about these 11 self-affirming concepts is really all about, really, that's applicable to any race, applicable to any nationality, applicable to any particular racial group or nationality or ethnic group, rather. That's applicable to all of them. Because it comes down to being a genuine human being with morals and values and strong work ethics, regardless of how you look. And a willingness to submit to what the particular organization wants, as long as they're not telling you got to worship Satan or something. I mean, unless you are that, no offense, but the deal is a deal. Unless they're telling you to do something that's against your religion, that's different. But if this is the stipulations for their particular job, then it is what it is, okay? But this whole thing here about, surviving on the job and you're under a lot of pressure, let me tell you something. I think a lot of that comes from a lot of these perceptions from a lot of black people that I have heard from and have experienced. I think a lot of these perceptions come from what's pumped into their own head. Stuff that they hear politicians say, stuff that they see on TV, and stuff that these teachers be telling them. A lot of this stuff is based on misguided perceptions. I'll give you an example. On my job yesterday, now, mind you, I don't work at Towers. I still work as a security officer. But I asked for a transfer over to May Companies, which was right across from Tower City, and asked for a transfer. So I'm there at the May Company, which is an apartment complex now, 4 days out of the week. And then Monday I come to Tower City. Okay? And I got a call from the lobby security officer, sit down post that the Cavs game, Cleveland Cavaliers game, is over, and that I'm going to need to come out in the lobby and hold the door open so that people who have parked their cars into the parking garage can get in, because they don't have a key card to get in. So, but they park their cars down there in the parking garage of the May Company. So I'm out there and I'm holding the door open and everything, and he says he's going to assist me, right? So then a few minutes into the holding the door open, I asked for permission to go get one of the work phone that I left back at the office. He says, sure, no problem. I go get the work phone. I come back, and he tells me, he says, man, these people are crazy. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm holding the door open, and this one white boy is walking past me, and he looks up and sees me. He's kind of jumps and comes in. He's like, and the little boy walks on inside with his parents or whatever. And then the black guy, obviously he's a black guy, tells me this, right? He says, and I said, man, what's wrong with you, boy? What's wrong with that boy? He ain't never seen no black man before. And I kind of laughed and chuckled it off a little. But in my mind, I'm thinking, perceptions, man. The perceptions that a lot of us as black people have of white people today. I'm going to talk about why I think certain white people have certain perceptions about black people in a minute. But the perceptions we as black people have of white people, I couldn't help but think, okay, that couldn't have been the problem, because when the little boy went to the Cavs game, most of the Cavaliers basketball players are black. And they're all men. Okay, I don't remember seeing any females in the basketball. They were all black men playing. Well, not all black men, but a significant number of the basketball players for the Cleveland Cavaliers are black. So how is it that this white boy had never seen a black man before? No, he was looking. He was in the game. He saw nothing but black men. So the startling more than likely wasn't because he was black. And by the way, this guy, he was a black guy, but he was lighter than me. He was light skinned. So what was he? Perceptions coming from outside sources that are actually poisoning the mind of a lot of black people in their views towards white people. Let's be realistic, man. Most of these white people ain't thinking about us and what we do. They just want to go to the games. They just want to go to school. They just want to go grocery shopping. They just want to do their thing, go about their business. They ain't thinking about us as black people. Most black people think of this kind of stuff because of their own perceptions. They ain't bit more. Them people ain't bit more thinking about you than two left shoes. They don't care about none of that stuff. Maybe 60, 70 years ago in Alabama, yeah, when we had the KKK and Jim Crow laws and all this other kind of stuff, they couldn't. Those white people couldn't stand you. They were always thinking about you and what they could do to belittle you and destroy you. But nowadays, them white folks ain't trying to. They trying to keep from offending you. That's why they always apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this. That's why they always apologizing. It isn't necessarily because of white guilt. It's because they don't want you to go off as a black person. Because I've seen so many videos and so many situations, not only videos, but where I work at, where black people going off on white police officers and white people in general. And it's like, it scares white people. Heck, it scares me. Why would I'd be like, yo, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to look at you like that. I didn't mean to cross your path. I didn't mean to breathe on you a little bit. I'm gonna hold my breath next time I come past you. I mean, come on, man. Perceptions, folks. Now, let me say something about the perceptions of a lot of white people and why some white people may think certain ways negatively about a lot of black people in modern 2024 America. It isn't because they think black people are inferior for the most part. That's not what it is. What a lot of black people, in my opinion, a lot of white people, in my opinion, may have certain perceptions about black people today that may not be positive, is because of what they see and what they have been experiencing. What do they see on the news most of the time? Most of the time, what do white people see on the news when it comes to black people? Be realistic. Let's quit playing games. You know what I'm talking about. Crime, killing, raping. That's what they see most of the time. Okay. Then when they in real life, you know, when they're going about their business, they may see black people acting crazy. This is what white people who are at Tower City, where I work at, most of the tenants in the terminal towers, which is an apartment complex, 90% of them at least are white. 90% of the people outside Tower City, at least 90%, that are the drug dealers, the troublemakers, the haters, are black. And most of the time, those black people raise hell with all around them. So what do you think them group of white people are going to think about black people in general if this is what they see every day they leave out their apartment and this is what they see every time they watch the news? Wouldn't you think that? In fact, a significant number of black people think that about other black people. That's why they don't like to go in certain neighborhoods. Duh. They don't like to go in certain neighborhoods because they know other black people are going to act a fool. It's common sense. That's not hating them, but like my boy Brandon Tatum say, yeah, but I'm the coon. I'm the coon because I point these. No. You can call me what you want. People call me what they want to call me. They know that I'm telling the truth. When you see how I perceive that is, when a person gets convicted, they just, you're a coon, you're that, you do, and they never give me any conflicting argument that makes sense. The only argument they can come up with is you a coon. You ain't no good. You ain't this, you ain't that. I laugh at you. I mock you internally because you haven't given me a valid argument to combat what I just said. Because you know what I just said is absolutely true. You know it from your observations. You know it from your experiences. You know. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Perceptions. A lot of people's perceptions of us, black, white, doesn't matter, is based on our continual, persistent attitude and approach on our work, in our workplaces and wherever we go. It has very little to do with your race. It has more or less to do with your personal attitude. Like I said, personal attitude and personal work ethic. When you have a strong work ethic and a positive, good attitude, most people are going to be okay with you. That's how it all comes down to. You don't need all this 11 points and all this kind of stuff. You don't need all of that. You don't need all of that. Just be you. Just be the positive, authentic you and see how it works out. Most of the time, it's going to work out for your good. Except for the haters, and that could come from all race groups and all ethnic groups. Okay, so that's what I had to say about that. What do you guys think about this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.